Hello there, I'm Gary, welcome to my channel and welcome back if you've been here before. This is Figure Friday. Now, building on from the last project we did, which was the British Coldstream Guards Battalion from the Peninsular War, this week I'm starting a regiment of Spanish infantry from the same campaign in the same scale. Why am I doing that? Well, I think the Spanish are underrepresented by wargamers. They look fantastic, and I will actually be using a different painting technique. So if you watched the last one, you'll want to watch this one as well, because there's a different way of painting you might just prefer. If you like the video, of course, then please do remember to subscribe if you haven't already. You can do that by clicking the small logo there in the bottom right. If you really like this project and what else we do on the channel, you might give some thought to supporting the future productions by going through Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee. Both of those have links in the information box below. The Murcia Regiment was raised in 1694 and fought during the wars of the Spanish Succession with some honour, including at Cadiz and Almanza. A year after the French invasion of Spain in 1807, the regiment fought at the Battle of Bailén, the first open field defeat of French troops in the Napoleonic era, and arguably the worst defeat suffered by them during the entire Peninsular War, with 17,000 troops captured. Later, 2 battalions of the regiment fought at Talavera. On the whole, the Spanish army proved itself to be, by turns, steadfast and uninterested. Both British and French writers noted the tough, cheerful nature of the regular troops, but the painful ineptitude of the officer class. Battlefield manoeuvres were slow and predictable, and the rate of fire in the infantry was considerably less than for the enemy. In 1812, the Spanish government appointed General Wellesley, later Duke of Wellington, to be Generalissimo of the Spanish forces. About 160,000 men were under arms, and about a third of these fought alongside Wellesley's Anglo-Portuguese army thereafter. A regiment of infantry of the line in Spain typically consisted of 3 battalions. In reality, there were only normally 2 in the field. I'm going just with the 2. The 1st battalion was made up from 2 grenadier companies and 2 musketeer companies. The 2nd and 3rd battalions would each consist of 4 musketeer companies. Company strength was around 160 men, so 8 figures on the 1 to 20 scale that I use for 18mm soldiers. In the 1st battalion, 1 grenadier company will have a grenadier officer and drummer and 6 grenadiers. The other grenadier company has the command figures, so a mounted officer, grenadier drummer and grenadier standard bearer, and 4 grenadiers. Similarly, the musketeer companies each have an officer and a drummer and 6 musketeers. The command company for the 2nd battalion has a mounted officer, standard bearer, drummer, and 4 musketeers. Putting all this together, we have this layout for the regiment, here shown in line formation. Forward is towards the top of the frame, with the 2nd battalion deployed behind the 1st. Our shopping list is thus 2 mounted officers, a grenadier officer and standard bearer, 2 grenadier drummers, 10 grenadiers, 5 foot officers, 1 musketeer standard bearer, 6 musketeer drummers, and 34 musketeers. That's a total of 60 foot and 2 mounted figures. Off we go with the order. The mounted figures, as usual, come separate from the horse. They just need to be attached with superglue or 2-part epoxy. The grenadier figures look very fine with their huge bearskin hats. On the back of the hat is a long cloth bag that will need to be painted, but more of that next time. There were 4 distinct poses of grenadier marching at shoulder arms among the 10 figures I received. With the musketeers, I got 4 poses amongst 5 foot officers, which I think is pretty good, and 4 different drummers too. There is the ensign carrying the standard, then the musketeers themselves. I found 8 different poses in total. Now this variety really looks good when it gets to the table. So here are the figures for the 1st Battalion with the 2 Grenadier and 2 Musketeer companies. And here's the 2nd Battalion with 4 Musketeer companies. The Spanish regiments would typically carry 1 colour per battalion. The coronella at the top is equivalent to a king's colour, with the royal cipher at the centre and the arms of the city of Murcia in the corners, and this is carried by the 1st Battalion. The Ordenanza below is carried by the 2nd Battalion and features the Cross of Burgundy to honour the Bourbon lineage of the Spanish royal family, again with the arms of Murcia in the corners. With the figures all cleaned of any flash, I can start priming them all in black. This is essential for the dry brush technique I'll be showing you next time. Again, I'm using an airbrush as I think it gives a much better coat. There we go then, we're all ready to go. So next week I'll be showing you the dry brush painting technique. I'll be putting them all together on bases, showing you how to do the texture base, and of course getting them ready for final use. Now, until then, if you've enjoyed the video, please do remember to subscribe through the logo in the bottom right if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you then. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you next time.